This week on Wrestling with the Business, it's Wrestlemania!
Here we go. Episode 51, Wrestling with the Business podcast. Jeremy, Matt, Dan. As Jeremy said, it's Wrestlemania week. It's the spotlight of the wrestling world this week. Live in Philadelphia. I don't know what the weather situation is. I haven't looked at it. I heard some chances of some storms. I don't know. I'm seeing all these screenshots on social media of the stage being built and working around the rain. So I don't know what the weather is this weekend, but hopefully they have a good show. But we got a lot to get through tonight. Pretty much all WrestleMania. But before we dive into it, make sure you check out our YouTube channel. Hit that follow button. Subscribe down below. Give us a like. Follow us, count anywhere. What are we doing? WrestleMania moments?
Top 5 WrestleMania moments this week.
No ring the bell because we have too much WrestleMania content this week. And make sure you check out WWB Gauntlet on all of our social shorts on YouTube and Instagram. Let's dive right into it, shall we? We have Monday Night Raw. Let's set this up a little bit, right? 2 weeks ago, we had probably one of the best Raws in a long time. Everyone talking about it. It's been the buzz. They have one more Raw heading into WrestleMania 40. The second time that Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, The Rock, Cody Rhodes, all four of them together. The only other time was on SmackDown a couple weeks prior. Did this Raw meet the expectations as the go-home Raw to WrestleMania?
No.
I'm going to say no.
No?
I think last week's was a much better go-home with The Rock beating down Cody, even though all four of the guys weren't there together. But I think that beatdown was a perfect go-home.
Oh, the segment is getting so much praise. I mean, it's definitely a segment to end something on.
Yeah. We talked, I think we talked last week about, is this the return of the Attitude Era? Mm-hmm. And I was watching the opening segment where they were all talking smack in the ring and all that stuff, setting up for the night. And I couldn't help but think when Seth Rollins called out both of them and Solo Sikoa stepped forward and said, "No, it'll be me." I had this bittersweet feeling because on the one hand, I was like, that's good. Stretch that rubber band. The crowd's hating it. Get that heat. And at the same time, I was like, in the Attitude Era, they'd have a match. There'd be some kind of a dusty finish at the end, which would help build heat going into WrestleMania. But you would actually see them in the ring together.
See, I don't know about that. See, I thought the opposite. I thought exactly what you're saying, but I thought the opposite. I thought of the old DX McMahon-Helmsley faction when Triple H goes, "Oh, you guys got Road Dogg and X-Pac tonight," and he's sitting in the back and watching the match on the TV, and then they come out and interfere after. See, I got the different. I thought it was the other way, kind of going back to the old ways when the big faction was dictating the matches, and you couldn't get your hands on Triple H. No. You're not wrestling Triple H.
You kind of had that at the end when you had The Rock be like, "Oh, it's going to be bloodline rules."
Right.
You
knew what they were setting up for. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You knew Cody Rhodes was definitely going to be there, and you knew what they were setting it up. I mean,
Rock was clearly going for heat. He got it. It worked. The crowd hated it. Okay, fine. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think which one more represents Attitude Era? What I said or what he said?
I think they probably did both, but what you said, definitely, I see that more in my mind. I see Triple H sitting in the back just watching TV and sending his cronies out.
Yeah.
No, it's good heat. Either way, it's good heat. I don't think it was better than the week before.
No, definitely
I don't think so. I think it was an accident that Cody got split open probably, but it turned into a happy accident.
I don't know.
I don't think it was I think they planned that.
I think
did he go the hard way? I mean, it looked like he went the hard way.
He could have, but I think he definitely wanted
Either way, I think it was planned one way or another.
I think he wanted it.
I mean, you look at the differences between, obviously, we talked about last week, everyone's bringing up, is this a new Attitude Era with a name that they haven't really figured out yet? But do you think that Raw, let's take away the WrestleMania lead up out of it. Did this Raw still fit into we're going down the Attitude Era way? Now, obviously, last week we had getting busted open. We had the whole backroom scene. Did this Raw still feel like they're trying to integrate a little bit of the attitude into it?
I don't remember anything else standing out in the rest of the show.
Mm-hmm. It feels to me like they're putting all their eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
The Bloodline basket.
The one thing I did like, it reminded me of the classic segment at the beginning of Raw where like 15 people come out. Remember back?
It's very busy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like back to where we have a good solid promo where you have The Rock that came out. Then he introduces Roman Reigns. Then Seth Rollins comes out from the same. It was a good. I think it was like 30 minutes.
Yeah, it burns a lot of time.
It burned a lot, and that was a classic promo.
What do I say?
Back in the day?
Nobody kills time like the Bloodline. Nobody.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
It's
I kind of thought that maybe was a mix of them trying to introduce a little. I mean, obviously they've had promos for years, but it just felt like more of a. It wasn't like Cody Rhodes coming down and talking for 10 minutes and that's it. It wasn't like Seth Rollins come down and the lights are dimmed and it's just him in the ring and he's doing a hardcore one-on-one promo and then that's it. Like, for the last couple of years they've been doing that. Like AJ Styles will come down and do a segment for 10 minutes in the ring.
They've been doing that because fans were complaining about all the guys coming out in the beginning taking a half hour. They were complaining about not being enough wrestling or the single promo. It changes every few years.
Right.
It
does feel like in a way they're mixing in some of the.
There needs to be a balance, right? If you're in the middle of the dog days of summer, you're coming off of, let's say, SummerSlam or something, you need to put more wrestling in the card.
Right.
But if you're building up to your Super Bowl, if you're building up to WrestleMania, you can afford to have more talking and more storyline development and drama and stuff. One thing that isn't working for me is this Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch angle. It is not working. It's not getting any better. No. This whole, they're two honey badgers that just don't give an F and they're plowing these full-grown men over like bowling pins. I mean, did you see Becky, little tiny 120-pound Becky Lynch just like plowing guys over? I mean, at least hit him with a nut shot or something. But yeah, it looked bad to me. It looked very kayfabe.
I think the problem they're having with this rivalry, this match right now, is Rhea Ripley.
She's just so much
How
better.
are you going to take the title from her?
She's just
so it's
much
almost
better.
like, unless you're like going to have to make Becky Lynch take it, I just don't understand. Like, and there's a lot of people pulling for Becky, which makes me kind of think that maybe
she's still a fan favorite, but
she's definitely a fan favorite. Rhea Ripley, she's just like right now, she's just.
I don't know. You could work an injury angle or something if you wanted to take the title off of her.
Becky just gets a sneak win, something like that.
There's no open.
Let Becky turn heel and cheat to win it or something.
There's like Stone Cold did that with The Rock in WrestleMania. What was it with Vince?
Yeah, everyone hated that.
You could do it. Becky hasn't been heel in a while.
There's no Money in the Bank's open, right, for women's right now?
No.
That can't be a spoiler.
That she didn't. Was it Io Sky turn that in to win the belt?
So that's not a factor.
Yeah,
so this is gonna be a clear cut. Somehow there's some interference from something. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
We could see a return of.
How can one of them lose it with clean
Trish or something? I don't know.
If Becky
wait
loses
until our surprises later.
If Becky loses with a clean loss, or I don't know how either one of these two move on from losing that match.
I mean, technically, Rhea is the heel. She should be the one who's cheating.
You could see interference. I mean, Charlotte Flair's in Philadelphia. She could come out even in her injured state.
Is that not one of my? No, I said SummerSlam. I think I moved it to SummerSlam.
I don't know who she. I don't know who. Well, that doesn't count. If she came out and hit somebody with the belt or something, come on, that doesn't count.
No, I mean, she's coming out interfering. She had to be close to ready to wrestle.
The other thing that's not working for me is this Gunther Sami Zayn angle that they're working. Listen, Gunther had the sleeper match. I think the last two WrestleManias he has had probably stole the show, came close to stealing the show both years.
What was it? The triple threat with Drew and Sheamus the year before, and last year was Drew, right?
Yeah. And they were
both
awesome.
of those matches were great.
Awesome.
Matches. It's funny
this is not going to be an awesome.
It's funny you bring these two matches up because when Cody Rhodes was doing his interview yesterday on the MMA show, he came out and said they asked him what matches are you looking forward to that you think is going to be great matches, and he brought up these two. Rhea Ripley, Becky Lynch, and it's just like you clearly see that they're real. They know these matches aren't getting the hype right now. Like I'm not interested in watching Sami Zayn and Gunther. I mean, first off, do we really think Sami Zayn's going to beat Gunther? Out of all the people, and he's had the belt for how long? 3-something, 4? Are we up to 4 now?
500 days.
5-something days. Like, is he really going to be the one that beats Gunther? Probably not. No. So this match means nothing.
And they're trying to do this angle where now Sami Zayn's best friends with Alpha Academy, and they got Gunther drag. Did you see this week where Gunther drags out Chad Gable, and he's all. It's like you were just feuding with Chad Gable. He was supposed to take the championship off of you, and now you're dragging him out unconscious to the ring. Come on. Can you not push a champion without stepping on a mid-card guy? Please, come on. You're killing me.
And you know, and what I kind of go off of Raw for a second, we have SmackDown tomorrow, right?
Today.
Oh, they moved it today? Wait.
This is airing on Friday.
Oh, yeah. But we have SmackDown on Friday.
Today.
Yes. I guess it took me a while. It took me a while to realize that. Yes. So we have SmackDown tonight.
Probably right now.
And we record on Thursdays.
It's going on right now. Actually.
So we have SmackDown. Is there anything really going to happen?
They got one card. They got one match. They got to add.
I didn't really think about it, but it's really the night before. All these people got to be.
Before, yeah.
Well, they're doing the Andre the Giant Battle Royale. Maybe the winner gets something.
Where is it tonight? Do you know?
It's in Philly.
It's got to be in Philly, right?
It's a whole weekend. It's a whole.
So I mean, I guess anything could happen.
No, the Battle Royal doesn't mean anything anymore. They'll just get their name on the trophy, take a picture next to it, doing the pose, and
we won't see any of the main eventers there. I mean, none of them, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
Rock, Reigns, Rollins.
Hang on. No.
Cody will be there.
You're gonna see Logan Paul.
Well, those ones, yes, but like Rock, Roman Reigns, Rollins, they won't be there.
Cody will be there.
You think so?
Yes, he'll make an appearance.
I don't think I've heard anything about them being advertised.
He'll cut a promo.
You have to. You have to have them there to at least talk.
You would think, but
yeah,
you
maybe Rock and Roman do a video.
They're already in the city. What are they doing?
Right.
I don't know.
What are you busy doing otherwise? Like, come on.
All right, so
Money in the Bank still in play?
what?
For the men, yeah. But on night one, Judgment Day, there's going to be wrestling, which means
Well, that doesn't mean much.
it really would only play into the Rollins-McIntyre match on night two, I think.
So that's Monday Night Raw leading up to WrestleMania 40. Who knows what happens tonight on SmackDown? We'll see what happens. But let's jump right into WWE in the news. A couple of things this week. Cody Rhodes announces very quietly that he signed a contract extension with WWE. He quoted as saying that he didn't want to wrestle past the age of 40, and with this deal, he's no longer following that. So everyone's kind of believing it's a 3-year deal. He's 38 right now.
I was going to say, if he's around our age.
He'll probably wrestle till he's 41. 3-year deal.
He'll wrestle beyond that.
3 to 5, I would think. Why the heck would you not want to wrestle after 40? That doesn't make any sense to me.
He said, and I don't have the exact quote, he said he never really liked watching his dad wrestle when he was older. And he doesn't want his daughters to have the same thoughts.
Yeah, but saying that and then actually doing it, he seems like the type to be a lifer.
I mean, how old was Dusty when he was watching? Was he 50-something? I mean, I don't know.
Probably, yeah.
Wrestling today is a lot different than
so Cody going to 45 isn't really that unbelievable. I mean, Rock's 51, and he's out there. Not really wrestling just yet, but he's 51.
Well, I mean, Edge is still out there wrestling full-time. Christian's out there wrestling full-time. There's tons of guys. Rey Mysterio.
Sting just retired.
So they asked him they asked him on the MMA podcast, which had everyone this week.
Yeah.
They asked, like, did you think about going anywhere else? And he said no. He goes, it's not an insult to AEW, but no. He goes, when I walk out, I see my name on poster boards and WWE 2K24. He goes, how can you, even though I didn't win the title last year, how can you not feel like this is where you need to be?
Yeah, he did it the right way.
He goes, it wasn't even because I didn't even think about it. I didn't think about doing a 2-year stint with them, coming back. Because this is where.
But I wonder, given the numbers that were released for, let's say, Mercedes Moné, how much money he's getting. And Okada, now that that's kind of gone public.
Oh, Cody Rhodes, I mean, I truly believe WWE is going to make him the face. So if they're going to make him the face, he should be one of the top paying, if not the top paying wrestler in WWE. Maybe outside of Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins maybe.
Yeah,
but
it's him and Rollins that are basically at the top.
How can you not? I mean, they got to be the top guys. I mean, Cody Rhodes is clearly the face right now. He's on the video game. He's on all the billboards. He's main eventing 2 WrestleMania matches this weekend. I mean, both nights. I mean, he's definitely the guy. I mean, so I got to imagine they paid him a pretty good amount. But also in the news, CM Punk. We finally got the interview I think everyone was kind of waiting for. We've had a lot of rumors flying. A lot of AEW has made comments about. We never really heard from CM Punk. He's been tight-lipped, not saying much. But apparently he decided that he was just going to tell all this week on the same podcast and kind of went through what he thought of Tony Khan, what he thought of Jack Perry, what he thought about it, what really happened with his exit from AEW. You said you watched the whole interview.
Yeah, I watched.
What are your highlights of it? I mean, what stood out to you?
I think the first 30 minutes did a lot of good for Punk in his career and his image. It really kind of softened him up. It made him look human. It made him look relatively modest. It made him look like kind of an easy guy to work with. He talked a lot about how the whirlwind that led to Survivor Series in Chicago with him making his premiere, and it was a very interesting and exciting period. I'd recommend anybody listen to the first 20 or 30 minutes of the show. But then when he started getting into AEW, I think things started to not look good. He really he shot on Tony Khan pretty hard. He really made Tony look like a real weakling. Tony's not a leader, and the fact that Tony was not a leader and he didn't take care of problems is what led to,
which we kind of suspected.
Yeah, I mean, what he kept saying over and over again is, if you don't take care of this, I'm going to take care of this, and you're not going to like it, which, again, doesn't really lend itself to like, oh, CM Punk's the most reasonable guy in the world, and he really wants to work with everybody kind of a thing,
Mm-hmm.
He also kept saying that, like, he didn't like the idea of splitting and creating a whole different show, but that once they did it, he made it his show and he wanted to be the boss, but he didn't really tell anybody what to do, but it was his show, and he kept doing that back and forth throughout the interview. Whereas,
he kept saying he didn't think it was going to be a good idea.
Yeah, but in one sentence he'd go, but if you're going to do it and you're going to make me the leader of it, that's really great. I love hearing that. But I'm not going to be the bad boss and tell everybody what to do. And meanwhile, Tony Schiavone comes to him and says, "Oh, Jack Perry's freaking out in the back and swearing at everybody. Can you help me?" "No, I don't really want to help him." And then, but he just gets dragged there by Tony. And then once he gets there, he's like gently asking Jack Perry to stop. And I'm like, dude, who do you think? Like anybody that knows.
So you call bullshit on that?
So
on his whole Jack Perry with the glass, and he walked out to the car.
I think I don't think he told a single lie. I think he left out a ton of
additional details.
He starts the story halfway through why did he have to make two different shows? How come nobody went, and this is how I know it was a junk interview, it's like, why was it that collision had to be created? Why was that? Why did there need to be two separate shows? Maybe we could start back a little bit further than just Jack Perry. Jack's hot-headed, and I think a lot of what Punk had to say made a lot of sense as far as don't destroy rental cars. It's bad for the company. It's bad for business. But at the same time, it's like you're going to let a little minuscule new guy, tiny dude like Jack Perry step to you, and you're going to actually throw down with him backstage in gorilla position at the biggest show of the year. And yet at the same time, you're going to be like, but I'm a consummate professional. And, I'm supposed to be the leader and I'm trying to teach people. And it's like, nah, dude, I don't think so. I don't think that's what happened. So
he quoted saying he's not a boss, he's a nice guy, Tony Khan. And this wasn't the business that he signed up for. So he implied he got deceived.
I give Punk a lot of credit. He said something twice in the interview that really resonated with me, which was, I'm going to paraphrase, but he said AEW's business model is not to sell tickets and move merchandise. That's not what the business is. And he was asked, well, then what business are they in? And he said, I don't know, having great matches. And it really, struck a chord with me after all of our conversations. I've said over and over again, they're not selling the same product. And they aren't selling the same product. And I think there's some truth to what he said, and he said he did this with Collision. He would always try and sell out the stadium. He would always try and get, viewership numbers up. That is what he was focused on. The show that isn't his, of course, right? And yet he's talking about how I would always try and improve this or improve that.
That makes it sound like he was a producer on the show.
Well, and he had, he said he had 2 contracts. One was like a special advisor or something to Tony Khan, something like that. So,
he said that wasn't the business he signed up for.
And so I think I don't think he got bait and switched, but I think this is I think AEW is Tony Khan's love letter to the wrestling industry and to the old-timey indie type wrestling style. He's not particularly interested in, I think he'd like to have it break even, but I don't think this needs to be some behemoth global juggernaut that crosses cultural boundaries like it is.
There's a difference between the two companies, clearly.
Yeah, he legitimately wants to be an alternative to the big corporate WWE.
Right. So he kind of ended that segment by taking a shot at everybody, by being like, hey, I love most of the guys that are at AEW, and, I hope they keep getting paid.
Yeah, when he said that, I was like...
overall, I think it was a decent interview. It did lift the curtain up a little bit, but it made him look, I think, from about 30 minutes to the end, it was kind of like, all right, Phil, give me a break. This is clearly a work. Like, nobody thinks you're actually, gently asking Jack Perry to listen to what you're saying. Like, cut me some slack, man. And yeah, he kept going that back and forth. Oh, I'm not the boss, but, everyone's just forcing me to be the boss, kind of a thing. So I think Tony probably is pretty limp-wristed. He does seem like he's not definitely the antithesis of Vince McMahon. He wants problems to kind of take care of themselves. He wants people to be mature. He did also take a shot at AEW over his injury.
Yeah, he said they didn't help him get it.
Yeah, I think he kind of expects the WWE treatment where you're kind of coddled and there's a whole network of doctors because it's $1 billion company. And
he said,
there's all that kind of stuff.
7, 8, 10 years ago when he first left, that WWE didn't do that either.
Yeah, and I think he was expecting a little bit more, and I think they kind of just went, yeah, go fix yourself and come back, which is kind of the more indie way of handling it.
Right.
And that upset him a little bit. So
he said after he walked out of All In, he didn't talk to Tony Khan again.
He has not spoken to Tony Khan.
No, he actually said he quit.
He quit.
Right.
Well, he quit, and then Samoa Joe went back and convinced him to go out for the match.
Yeah, I guess technically, yeah. He
quit before the match, I think, is what he said. And then Samoa Joe...
That's the thing. I think I kept getting the impression after hearing the story from his mouth that things maybe just kind of got out of hand. Because he quit, okay, people say things right. Then he comes back and he does a match. It's a great match, knowing that it's going to be his last match. Then he plans on showering and hanging around the stadium and everything, even after Jack Perry's gone, and it's some security guy that has to come and kind of encourage him to leave, kind of a thing. And he's such a nice guy, he decides to do that instead of causing trouble. It's
I think Cody Rhodes was asked about it on the same show later in the week, and I think he know. I think what?
What does Cody Rhodes know?
He knows the backstage.
Well, they just they obviously they're going to write. Hey, what do you think about it? Is that really?
He did spend all those interviews asking about AEW.
They're like, is that really how it works back there? Is that really? And I think he worded it as there's a lot of miscommunication. The whole situation was just a lot of miscommunication. I really think that's what it was. I think it was just a lot of people who just weren't talking and thought one thing and another person thought another, and it just blew up. And you know what? I hate to say it, with CM Punk, I don't think that's how you can operate with him. I think with CM Punk, you got to tell him how it's going to be. WWE is we're not giving you the authority.
It's a good environment.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying one's right over the other. It's just AEW more relaxed on the rules. WWE probably more strict. You're not going to walk in, Phil, and get your own show at WWE. We're going to tell you what you're going to do. I think that just leads to a lot of miscommunication. Which
he shot on Hangman too a little bit over that whole crap about the promo and Hangman going off script and again at the same time, this isn't my show, and then he goes after Hangman for taking money out of his pocket because now nobody I can't hear him and I don't know what I'm going to say back and the product is suffering for it. It's come on, dude, you're talking out of both sides of your mouth. Either you're the boss or you're not. You're doing what you're hating on Tony Khan for doing in this interview. So, it's what it is.
You got anything you want to add on the CM Punk?
Nope, that's it.
Moving on, keeping with AEW. AEW firings this week. What do you think of that? Not a lot of big namers.
No, it was, with the exception of 2 of them, it was all Ring of Honor talent. Yeah. It's surprising and it's not surprising. Surprising in that Tony Khan said, especially during the WWE firings during the pandemic, I'm never going to do that. I'm not going to fire anyone. They're going to run out their contracts and we'll renew or we won't renew. So this is the first actual firings he's done, aside from CM Punk and whatnot. But also not surprising because they're Ring of Honor talent. They're not really used all that much. They're on TV occasionally. So I don't know. it makes business sense.
Apparently, it has nothing to do with the financials. It was more of just a structural cleaning things up. And I guess it was worded, I don't know the exact wording, but it was worded along the lines that they're always welcome back. And this is just more letting them go do what they want to do. Mm-hmm. They're free from their contract. They can go out.
Well, Stu Grayson also, was it last year or even the year before, his contract ran out in AEW. He was gone for a couple months and then came back and went to Ring of Honor.
Right.
So these guys could come back at any point.
What comes around goes around, and this isn't the last we've seen of these guys, I bet.
Dasha, that was surprising. She was the secondary ring announcer. She was there whenever, what's his name? Dapper Yapper,
Dapper Yapper. Justin,
yeah, I can't remember his actual name.
I mean, the Dapper Yapper.
Yeah, that's what he's known.
It's better than a name.
So that's WWB in the news. Not much this week, but kind of a quiet week with WrestleMania being the headline. So before we jump into everything WrestleMania, let's talk about AEW for a few seconds here, a few minutes. Adam Copeland comes out yesterday, and I'm interested to see what Matt's take on this is. But Adam Copeland comes out beginning of the show. You know, we've heard a lot out of The Rock about how wrestling is great right now. Being in the wrestling business is great. Wrestling is doing very well. Wrestling is the spot to be, you know, really promoting wrestling and in his heel way, alluding to that's because of him. But
Mm-hmm.
just in general, I mean, let's be honest, wrestling it's hot right now. Everyone's talking about wrestling.
Yeah.
But Adam Copeland comes out, and you can tell it's a reaction to The Rock saying it and a reaction to what CM Punk has kind of said.
And
so I'm interested in what you have to say first, and I'll kind of give, and Jeremy can jump in too.
I wasn't crazy about it. It seemed kind of desperate. Like he was very much trying to be like, yeah, everything's okay. We're doing awesome. This company is great. We love wrestling.
Meanwhile, everything's on fire behind him. It's good. I'm good.
That meme, yeah.
The other side of the stadium's empty.
Yeah. He's talking to nobody.
Yeah, he's talking to 3,000 people. Yeah, I wasn't crazy about it. I would have preferred just starting out the match or just doing an actual promo. But
you know, I was going to use the word disgusting, but desperate I like better. It was definitely a sign of desperation, right? You know, I don't know if they feel insulted by what The Rock is saying, and obviously what CM Punk has said. And,
yeah, I didn't even consider The Rock. I was just
I mean, it's just he comes down and goes, you know, wrestling's pot. Like he just talked about how. He started. Of course, out of all people, we send out Adam Copeland, right?
Didn't he say like the best people wrestle at AEW?
He goes, he talked about why he left. He goes, "Well, I want to retire here," which I thought was like, seriously, dude. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I lost a lot of respect. Not that I had any after he left, but like, I lost a lot of respect for him in this. Of course, you're signing with AEW. Okay, they don't not because they had the best wrestler, because you haven't faced any of them that are there. Like, clearly, like. There's going to be different storytelling at AEW than WWE because you've wrestled all these guys over and over and over again.
Well, it's not nearly as crowded at AEW.
But he made it seem like, the wrestlers are so much better. This is why I came here. Like, okay, we all know why you came here because you can create some different storytelling than what you've had over at WWE.
And it's a lighter schedule.
It's a lighter schedule. And then for him to go on and say stuff like, this is a place to be, everything's going, like, it was just so forced. It was like, if you have to go out and tell people that you're a good place and that you're doing well, then you're not doing well. Like, WWE's not going out talking about, I mean, I guess a little bit with The Rock, but they're not going out and shoving it down to people's throats that business is great because they're doing great. They don't have to say that. AEW, and they've had some tough publicity, obviously. I'm sure they're very upset about CM Punk comments. I'm sure they're insulted with The Rock comments. Like their wrestling is not great, but WWE is. I thought the whole segment, he's staring in the camera and like, I was just like, dude, I don't want to listen to this anymore. It was bad. It was bad. And meanwhile, he's staring out at the arena that probably isn't filled.
Yeah, it's a quarter full.
I mean, like,
yeah, I think Tony Khan put him up to it.
For sure.
I don't think he wanted to do it. I think he wanted to go out there and act like it never happened. This is our own little safe universe here. We've got the kayfabe bubble around us. Let's just have some really good matches and have fun tonight. Mm-hmm. He just kind of wanted to plow through it, and I think Tony has some thin skin. And I think that's well documented, and I think he had been getting a lot of heat for tweeting and that kind of stuff, and he knew he couldn't go that angle. let's have a legend go out there, a WWE Hall of Fame.
But is Edge the right one?
Company.
Out of all the people, is Edge the right one?
He's the only one because he has been on both sides of the business and he's in the WWE Hall of Fame. You can never take that away from him. So you're having a guy from that business, from that company that's attacking you, that's going to come out and defend you.
I'm surprised Edge is the one that did it.
That's
I can see Chris Jericho, but Edge, like
nobody likes Jericho now. That's the problem.
But even if they did, it wouldn't mean as much because Jericho is a founding father. He was the first world champion. He put the company on his back.
My concern with the whole Edge doing it is, first off, don't ever talk about WWE again after a promo like that. I mean, he shouldn't be talking. I mean, he basically just came out and
he should be taking pot shots.
He's just like, it's just like, dude, I don't want to ever hear you talk about WWE again. More importantly, he's been with AEW for a minute. So why is he the one coming out? I mean, maybe Daniel Bryanson, maybe. I mean, maybe someone with a little bit more.
I love you.
I reference the WWE names.
Daniel Bryanson
or Bryan Anderson. Yeah. But like. So when I talked about editing, we're gonna go back and we're gonna redo that now.
No, we're not. We're leaving that in. Are you kidding?
So, but like maybe have someone more like it just was, to me. It was a very big sign of desperation. It was clear, like Tony. I mean, you can tell there's a lot of worry backstage. There's a lot of worry for them to come out and have to address it like that. There's some worry.
I don't know if there's worry. I think it's like you said. Tony Khan was a little butthurt and wanted to save face. That seems the most likely to me.
Yeah, and I think he feels like the fan base needs a little bit of a pep talk. I mean, listen, the worst part of the CM Punk interview isn't the interview itself. It isn't the fact that he talked about it. It isn't even anything that he said in the interview. It's the fact that now you have everybody and their sister sticking a microphone in everybody from AEW's face, asking the same question. You can just see it. Guys like Dax Harwood are getting exhausted. It's like, why is Dax Harwood being asked to comment on it? Why does anybody give an F? Well,
with Punk.
He's in the company. He's buddies with Punk. Punk name drops a couple of people. Thank God Darby Allin went all the way to the top of Mount Everest to avoid having this conversation because his name got dropped in the CM Punk interview. Like, there's a lot of, and even Punk saying stuff like, well, I don't want to get people in trouble. Like he just... Now people are like, well, why? You're not allowed to be friends with people? Oh, you caught a lot of heat for going to Monday Night Raw to see your friends backstage. They use the word betrayal. And it's like, now everybody's going to have the microphone in their face having to answer to that. And that's the worst part. That's the part that creates negativity. And I think Tony Khan has a real opportunity here where he needs to step up, take control of the talent, take control of the locker room, and do something about it. They gotta do something new. After WrestleMania is over, they need to come out and they need to do something.
There's a lot of stress in that. I think there's a lot of stress in that locker right now. You have a guy who's signing everyone and their brother to the promotion, and needs like Mercedes Malone.
I think if
our ratings up because no.
He can fix it though.
She's been on the show for how many weeks now? 2, 3?
You talking about Mercedes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Ever since Big Business.
Yeah.
Have you seen anything in the ratings with that? How many more people can you sign? How many more big people can you sign? Yeah, but still, she's still
been
there
on every week.
I mean, how many more people can you sign and not see the ratings fluctuate? I mean, they're not moving anywhere. They're not going anywhere. They're not going up. I mean, are they going? Maybe 900,000, maybe 850. I mean, there's no sign of them going up with her on board now. And she's the number one. She had to get her own locker room in the contract. She had her own locker room. That was what she wanted in the contract, her own locker room.
Yeah, you can get that, though.
But still, like, look at all... I mean, he paid top dollar. We all saw the number.
Yeah, that's not crazy, though. I could see that.
You would think there'd be some reaction.
Even Punk said in the interview, I don't do that whole individual locker room thing, so I had a bunch of guys. So that seems to me like, if for an AEW contract, that's not crazy. Because he was saying he had House of Black inside his locker room, and that was... So it sounds like he had that written in his contract, too. So.
All right, that's enough of AEW. Let's move on to some... WrestleMania topics. His is better than mine. He took it away from me. I was going to do a whole thing with it, and then he jumps in.
Well, I'm glad I did, because if that's what we had to look forward to, holy crap.
Let's jump into predictions first, and we'll do our mystery slot after. So let's jump into predictions. We got 2 nights. How many matches are on night 1?
7.
7, and then 6 on
I think they're going to add 1. I think one more is going to creep up on us.
Find out on SmackDown tonight.
I mean, think 1, 2, 3. They have these 6. 2 of them are non-title matches as it stands right now. I mean, these are going to have to be the longest matches in the history of it. These are going to have to be 30-minute, matches.
The show ends early. There's nothing wrong with that, too. Triple H doesn't like the long shows. So.
I think Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes is going to go like an hour with the entrances.
Oh, yeah, and half of that will be entrance.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do.
All right, guys, let's jump into predictions for WrestleMania 40 to start off our discussions on the main show of the year. Steve, why don't you read us off the matches, night 1, and then we'll start. So, the belt's on the line. Let's put this in motion.
Yep,
Divas belt is on the line here.
Which Jeremy still hasn't updated.
Jan hasn't updated
it. Didn't do it either.
Yeah, it's a little.
I was just going to let that one ride, actually.
Steve, name them off. Night 1, first one.
Alrighty, first match of night 1: Rhea Ripley, the current champion, versus Becky Lynch in a singles women's world championship.
Rhea
match.
Ripley. This is easy.
Yeah, Ripley.
Rhea Ripley.
All right, match number 2 for the WWE Intercontinental Championship: Gunther versus Sami Zayn.
Another easy. Gunther.
Yeah. Alrighty, the 6-pack tag team ladder match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. Judgment Day, which is Finn Balor, Damian Priest versus DIY, Johnny Gargano, and Tommaso Ciampa. The Awesome Truth, Ciampa. There's no H. The Awesome Truth, which is The Miz and R-Truth versus The New Day, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods versus A-Town Down Under versus the New Catch Republic.
I kind of want to say Austin Theory because I really like him.
Yeah, we know you like him. We should preface this. They're saying that they're splitting the belts. So Raw and SmackDown are each going to
there could be 2 winners
again. That's what I'm thinking. We should pick two winners on this.
Okay.
So I'll make a prediction right now. I think that Awesome Truth wins the Raw belts, the red belts, and I think that New Day wins the blue belts.
I'm saying Awesome Truth and DIY.
I'm going to go Awesome Truth, and then I'm going to go A-Town Down Under.
So everybody's picking Awesome Truth.
Hell yeah.
I think they got a funny run going for a while. They did a good 2 months with some funny content out of
them against
Yeah.
Judgment Day. I mean, that's some great content.
So we all think Judgment Day's losing. They're walking out with nothing.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yeah, because then that sets up good for the next night with him holding the Money in the Bank, which could be an interesting factor in the Rollins-McIntyre match. So hang on, one more time.
Yeah.
Dan, who did you have for the blue belts?
I want Awesome Truth and A-Town Down Under.
I didn't specify which belts.
And you?
I had Awesome Truth and DIY.
DIY, okay.
All right, Steve, what's next?
Next match: Battle of the Brothers, Jay versus Jimmy Uso.
Jay.
Next match: the 6-woman tag team match: Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi versus Damage Control.
BCN.
That's what you're calling them?
BCN, I think.
I'm going Jade, Naomi,
Yeah, Jade's team.
Bianca.
Wow. Seems like a pretty predictable WrestleMania so far.
So really, the 6-pack ladder match is where it's going to be decided
Because
for
it's
night
all
1.
the people.
That's true. Yeah, there's like 12 people in that match, so.
Oh, no, The Rock, Roman Reigns.
Yeah, we're going.
We'll get there when we get
We got 2 more.
Oh, okay, go.
Next match: LWO versus Santos Escobar and Dirty Dom.
That's Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee.
Yes.
I'm going
LWO
Dominic
reps.
Mysterio. Santos Escobar.
I'm going with Ray and Dragon Lee.
Interesting.
Yeah, same with me.
They're gonna
Oh,
beat
there
the
we
shit out
go.
of the kid.
Hmm?
They're gonna beat the shit out of Dirty Dom. It's gonna be great.
So Dom is now part of Legado del Fantasma and Judgment Day? Is that the story they're
He's
telling?
been getting no love in Judgment Day. Like, they aren't even letting him hold the mic so people can boo him down anymore. So, I don't know. Maybe they're doing a transition. Because JD is getting a little bit more of a push. Some more...
McDonough?
Yeah, has been getting a little bit more of a push. You know, he's getting
Interesting.
matches and he's involved in the story and stuff. So,
All right.
Finally, for night 1, the Bloodline, The Rock and Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes and Seth frickin' Rollins.
Bloodline.
Bloodline has to win the first night.
Bloodline. Takes all the fun out of night 2 if they don't have that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, night 2.
So that's night 1. All right, Steve, break us down night 2.
Night 2, first match: Seth frickin' Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Drew.
Drew McIntyre. At least they're not trying to push an injury angle with Rollins now.
With the back and whatever.
Yeah, I'm waiting for you to say Damian Priest.
Okay, I'm throwing in an extra point here.
Whoa!
Okay.
Seth Rollins wins the match. Damian Priest comes down and cashes in to win the title.
Okay.
I don't think they're giving anything to Drew McIntyre. No contract's still signed yet. Why would they give him the belt?
So Damian cashes in and wins, and you're putting what, one on
1
it?
point. 1 point on that.
I have a feeling.
So you're gonna call this a Rollins win.
Rollins wins the match.
Rollins wins the match, yeah.
And Damian Priest comes down and cashes in. Now, I guess he could technically come down and cash in and make it a triple threat, right?
Yeah, that's what
He
Rollins did.
He wouldn't do
Right.
that though.
Yeah, I'm going to stay away from that.
I have a feeling whoever wins that match is dependent on who wins Bloodline versus Rose and Rollins.
Why?
If Rose and Rollins wins, Drew's gonna lose night 2. If the
See,
Bloodline wins, he's gonna.
I would see it the other way.
Yeah, that's a very interesting
The only reason
take.
why I'm going with Seth Rollins winning the match because he's not walking into WrestleMania and losing both matches. How is he going to walk in and lose The Rock and then walk in and lose the title? So he's going to win the match, but he's going to lose the title when Damian.
No.
It's the only way to get.
Rollins could easily take an injury and
Yeah,
then
take
come out
some time
injured on
off.
night 2, and then take some, lose it to McIntyre. Then I could see Damian Priest if he's going to turn.
I think
then.
he saves a
has to.
little bit of phase, at least winning one, but they still achieve the goal of a different champion.
I still don't see Priest winning the belt even when he does cash in
So my prediction would be he cashes in.
and
but
doesn't win.
He's
it.
got it.
That's all I'm going to
Don't-
say. He cashes in, and that's my prediction. Damian Priest cashes in.
Are you putting a point on that, big guy?
I would put a point on that.
Let's see it. We'll put
There
a
you
point,
go.
pal.
Damian cashes in. Yeah, I'll put a point on that. He has to. Because
Right,
Money in the
are
Bank's
you
like,
Money in the
emphasizing
Bank's
what
in
match
June.
he's cashing in, or just anything? I mean, he could show up in the Gunther match.
I mean, it's
Yeah, that's fine. That's
You're
a cash in.
saying any match.
no. The Gunther match is night 1. That doesn't make any sense if he's going to do that.
But that's not what you're saying anyways. You're just saying he's cashing in. And that's it.
So he can crash in for anything.
Yes,
that
He
counts.
could cash
cash
in
in.
for anything. He doesn't even have to win.
I'm specifying.
You're
against-
saying he's
yes.
going to win.
All right, so we're slightly different.
Next match, the Io Sky versus Bailey match for the WWE
Bayley.
Women's Championship.
The Io Sky.
You going with Io Sky?
No, I'm going with Io Sky. Yeah.
I'm going with Bailey.
I'm going Bailey. How
They're both great.
can you go with that? I mean, they've been building this whole promotion for Bailey. She left the whole group.
I know.
I mean, Damage Control can come down and kick the shit out of Bailey.
There's a lot of titles that are getting shifted around in these predictions. There's a lot of title movement. Every title's not going to move, and I think this is. I have basically every other title.
This is the first title we predicted would move. Besides those of us who picked Drew,
Mm-hmm.
all
No,
the other
no, we
titles are
have-
staying with the.
Awesome Truth, and Awesome Truth
Oh,
doesn't
right.
hold
Yep,
New
that
Day, A-Town, DIY. Yeah, we have Gunther and Rhea staying. So, but especially night 2. Who here thinks Roman Reigns is going to maintain?
We
Okay.
haven't gotten to that yet.
Okay. We
Yeah.
haven't gotten there yet. Okay.
Quit
Next.
jumping ahead.
All right, next match, AJ Styles versus LA.
Does
Knight.
anyone really?
Yeah!
Does anyone really give a shit about this match? I mean,
No, but
No.
LA Knight's
Hell
going to win.
Knight's gonna win.
Because it doesn't mean anything.
LA Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next match, Logan Paul versus Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. That's what it says on Wikipedia for the triple threat match for the WWE US Championship.
Logan Paul.
Kevin Owens.
Logan Paul.
Funny, no one's going with Randy Orton. Double
He's
crossing
a-
Kevin
He's
Owens.
probably gonna be the one who wins. Yeah.
He's like they love giving him the belt.
Do you
Has-
really think Owens is going to win, or do you just really want Owens to win?
What's the difference?
The
Either I'm
difference
right
is
or
you're
wrong.
following
So
your
are you a
heart,
big
and
Kevin
the other
Owens
one
fan?
is you're following your head.
After the what's Paul's had that belt for how long now?
9
months?
SummerSlam, he won it, right?
Yeah.
So 9 months.
The whole feud has been going on for so long. Kevin Owens has been screwed over or beat so many times. Yeah, I
Yeah,
could
it's
see
true.
him
I can
winning
see it
this.
finally winning it. Yeah,
I could
I
see
can
him win
see
this,
it.
absolutely.
I just think they like the belt on Logan Paul.
I agree. It may be a little bit of my heart, but my head's in it a bit too.
He's going to learn. He is the, pun intended, he's the prime sponsor of WrestleMania. His symbol's going to be in the center.
He's bought
And
that
he's-
belt.
and he's gonna get pinned on top of his company's symbol at WrestleMania.
Well, he doesn't have to get pinned. right?
I guess
Randy
technically Orton could.
That's what it's going to be.
could
Kevin
take the
Owens is
fall.
going to pin Randy Orton and win the belt. And nothing comes off of Logan Paul.
I guess one way is they could have him get injured or something.
If Kevin Owens wins the belt, they have to do it that way.
And it's a triple threat, so it's automatically no DQ.
But if they do it that way, he doesn't really win the belt, though. You know what I'm saying? You didn't pin the champion.
Well,
You know
exactly.
what
So they're
I'm
going to keep
But
this
you
little
still
rivalry
win
going.
the belt. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, let's be honest. You just pointed out there's no way Logan Paul is taking a pin on top of his logo.
That's why I think he's gonna win.
But then again, I guess at some point that's got to happen because Prime's gonna be on every ring moving forward.
But
Maybe.
it's no DQ, so he's going to get knocked out, put through a table or
Yeah.
something, and then Owens.
Yeah, I
wins
mean,
it.
he's the one that's gonna cheat to win, so he'll cheat to take somebody out.
All right, what we got next?
Up next, The Pride, which is Bobby Lashley, Angelo Dawkins, and Montez Ford with BFAB versus The
Why?
Final Testament, Karrion
Why?
Kross, Akam.
But you know what?
See,
This match
okay.
right here is what's going to determine who wins because none of us care about this match.
Right.
Why?
This match should be on SmackDown, and the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal should be on WrestleMania.
I'm going to go with Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Pride.
And the
Same.
Street Profits.
It's the Pride.
Yeah.
And
Jesus.
finally,
Why?
The main
As-
event.
as pre-WWE SmackDown on Friday night tonight, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes. Under
For the
stipulation determined.
undisputed.
Universal Championship. I'm going Roman Reigns. No, I'm kidding.
Cody Rhodes.
I was going with The Rock, but
Cody Rhodes.
no, Cody.
It'll be bloodline rules. It'll be messy, but Cody Rhodes is gonna win.
Interesting you just said that, Matt.
The Rock?
I didn't think about this whole little situation. I'm going to choke on my Skittle I'm eating. Okay. Really, bloodline rules means any rules.
Means anything goes.
Rock is the final boss. Could The Rock come down
He will.
and put himself in the match
He will.
and win the belt?
No.
Could you imagine
No.
the shit?
You can't win the belt.
What do you mean?
That's not how bloodline.
Whoa!
That's
But
not-
No,
Bloodline
yeah, they
rules.
said Bloodline Rules is just a no DQ match.
Yeah.
That's
bloodline
it?
rules
That's it.
just means anything.
I think they even said anything
You don't think they
goes,
can
yeah.
spin it? Like they can make any rules they want?
Yeah, The Rock could come down and say, I'm the boss, so I'm
So are
changing
you joking
it.
when you say The Rock?
Yes, of course I was joking. I said a Cody
but
Rhodes.
you just opened where I think there's a slight possibility of
Yes,
it.
he
Could
could
you
come down.
imagine the booze? Holy shit.
Yeah, it's just
exactly.
a, it's
He
just
could
a no
come-
DQ. It's
He
just a
could
no
come
DQ.
down and say that, put himself in the match. He gets booed. Seth Rollins or somebody else comes out, takes him out. Maybe Triple H comes out, takes
John
him out of
Cena.
the match.
And Steve Austin come out.
There you go. Steve Austin, John Cena.
So that's
yank
what
him
it's
out of
going to
the
be,
ring.
right? It's going to be heroes come out with the heroes, villains come out with the villains. They mix it up outside of the ring, and then it's just going to be like Blackpool Combat Club madness. You're going to see, John Cena going after The Rock over here. Nobody's talked about Cena at all, but it's WrestleMania. He's going to be there.
All right, so where are we going with this?
Rhodes is going.
Rhodes,
we all
Rhodes,
said
it'll
Cody.
be
Rhodes.
messy
I'm
as
going
hell.
Rhodes, too.
We all said Cody.
It's going to last an hour plus. After the bloodline rules become the stipulation, we're going to see entrance after entrance after entrance.
I think they'll come out alone. Roman will just come out with
No.
Heyman
I mean on Cody's side. You're going to have all these surprises that are going to show up.
to help him out.
Well, we're leading into our next topic now.
The
So
surprises?
So right now there's a there's a mystery slot. We're good with all the predictions, right? We're locked in, done.
That's all of them.
Okay, good. All right, so moving on to our next topic. There's a mystery slot that's been posted on the card that no one knows what it is. So obviously something can happen there.
Not a match. Just
Not a match, just something like a
surprise.
WrestleMania moment, whatever that could be. However, that could be slightly different than what we have on the main event, and the idea of all these faces coming out to help Cody Rhodes.
Probably legends. It's a 40-year anniversary.
Right.
So
What I
imagine a
thought
lot
was
of legends.
interesting. What I thought was interesting is The Rock said, "The Rock's the final boss" on the Raw last week, and he said that as he was staring at John Cena and Stone Cold. It's just like he kind of made it like I'm the top guy. So it's kind of it's a little interesting. I kind of said to myself, I could see Stone Cold and John Cena showing up on WrestleMania now to let them know, no, you're not the final boss, pal. I mean, but I think there's much to that down the road. But
So
So let's open up to surprises here.
One of my surprises was that Stone Cold would be at the show. But if you see Stone Cold do a stare down, do a face off with a Rock, then you're going to want to see a match, and that probably won't
I think
happen.
he comes out quick stunners out of there.
Yeah.
He's got to do the stunner.
Even that, I mean...
I'm going to go off of Matt, because I also have Stone Cold shows up on WrestleMania. And I just don't know. There's so much. I'm confused. I'm really, really undecided right now, because there's so much in that match right now. Do you really want to throw Stone Cold and John Cena in it? That's what I'm trying to, and the other thing that gets me on,
maybe they'll be on night one in the tag match
or that. It just, but I do feel like if they're going to get involved in this whole bloodline storyline, it's going to be night 2, because you're going to have all the bloodline there, and it's just Cody. So clearly, there's got to be people to help. And, I'm thinking of WrestleMania in San Francisco a couple years ago, where it was Sting against DX, remember?
A couple years ago. That was 9 years ago, dude.
It was more than a couple.
31.
You remember? And Hulk Hogan, NWO came out, everyone,
Yep.
they came down. Like, I'm looking at a moment like that. I almost kind of put together an Avengers moment where Captain America is there by himself and everyone starts showing up. And I could see that. I could see John Cena and Stone Cold, but they need more than just those two.
And
so who else is coming out with those?
Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels.
Mick Foley,
Triple H.
It could be Triple H, actually.
Triple H was a big
There's been a
dusty
lot
guy.
of jabs from Rock to Triple H.
Mhm.
I could see that. That's got to be resolved at some point. Rock saying all those comments.
I don't know if he could see a one-time appearance, but I don't think you'd see.
So I'm going to rephrase mine and say a group of wrestlers come out and help Cody Rhodes. I think that's where I'm going. I don't know what the mystery slot is. I originally kind of thought that was to be Stone Cold and John Cena. I don't know why everyone's putting those two together, like they would be doing something together. But I think there's going to be a revolt of faces that come out and help Cody Rhodes.
What if it's MJF?
Steve, you're jumping ahead the gun.
How am I jumping the gun?
Because that's something that's coming up later.
It's a surprise.
One surprise that I had is relative to what we're talking about is I think The Rock's wrestling is going to be shit. I think
he's been working. He's looking a little bit lighter.
But he hasn't been in a ring.
The couple of spots,
being in shape and ring shape are two different things.
The couple of spots I've seen him do, his punches were terrible. His selling wasn't great. I think, and I don't know whether the hype is going to be able to overcome it. It is not going to be a well-executed match. We will see if... I don't think he's going to potato anybody or anything like that, but I think it's not going to be a well-executed match, despite the fact that it's a tag team, despite the fact that he has some of the best guys in the business.
Well, I think the three of them are going to carry The Rock in the first night.
He's going to be gassed.
I think it's going to be very, very obvious.
In night 2, he's
Maybe
just
not
basically
2
beating people up or taking the punches,
Yeah,
whatever it is.
Night 1, I'm talking specifically about his match night 1. I think it's going to be obvious that he is definitely the weakest guy in the ring, and his performance is not going to be good at all. Now, maybe, his match with Hogan, when he carried Hogan through that match, maybe it'll be something like that, and nobody will even notice, but he is not going to do well in that match at all.
A couple unrelated surprises I had down were a couple returns. Big E and Alexa Bliss.
Ooh, Big E.
I think
he has been kind of around a little. I've seen him on social media and stuff.
I think at the very least, he'll probably come out with New Day for their tag match.
Bliss coming back would be cool, but how would she come back?
I don't know, something.
Because she really wasn't aligned with anybody. She could do a nice little tribute to
Bray.
Yeah, to Bray.
Yeah, something.
And the other two I've already said one, Damian Priest. I think that's going to be a big surprise moment. Damian Priest coming down.
When he cashes in.
Walks
in.
And
wins.
And wins.
That would be
I think that's a big surprise in itself. We already kind of alluded to that earlier. But I've been holding out hope. And I look,
shame on you.
You know what?
Shame.
I've learned with watching all these dirt sheets that go out and all. You never know what's what. And everyone keeps saying he has a contract signed and everything. We don't know. For all we know, he met with AEW wherever they were in Boston or whatever for the show. And which has been reported, he met with AEW, and that could have been what you got for me. Well, that's not good enough. Okay, and now I'm going to and look. MJF is not stupid, right? He just called out The Rock. That's first off. When we say here, we look at the probability of happening. Would any of you say it's probable that he would have called out The Rock on X, on Twitter?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
You would have said,
hang on.
He'll call out The Rock.
The Rock commented on his girlfriend's post.
That has nothing to do with really MJF.
Sorry, his ex-girlfriend.
But really, it's
or
a great,
ex-fiancé, right? Weren't they even engaged?
It's a great photo. You think that's meant to take a jab at MJF? The Rock probably didn't know who MJF is.
Yes, he does.
He does.
I think The Rock doesn't know.
I'm joking, but come on. I mean, he clearly a pretty nice picture of The Rock beating the shit out of Cody Rhodes.
I think that was more a shot at Cody Rhodes.
So the question is, if it's not a planned thing, I don't think The Rock... If it's not a planned bit, The Rock's not trying to get the attention of MJF. However, if it's a planned thing, then clearly MJF is now saying, keep my name out of your mouth. There's a little bit of beef showing up there.
So MJF is one of the ones that comes in to help Cody?
I think, well, that's the only way MJF shows up is helping Cody. I mean, there's no other way he'd show up at the show. So I think I think the stars are there. WWE is here. AEW is here. MJF's not dumb. He sees where the trends are going. He sees where everyone's going. I mean, come on. There's got to be some probability here.
Are you willing to put another point on it?
I'm not speaking until you say whether you're going to point.
Start sliding that belt over, Jer.
I think, honestly, you're not a real man unless you put 3 points on that.
3 points?
That's what I think.
Get
I mean,
the
listen,
fuck
my
out of
2
here.
cents. Listen, put your money where your belt is. That's all I want
I
to say.
believe so much that it's... I just look at... You got to look at storytelling. And the idea is, why would The Rock posting on that, right? No one ever would have sat here and said, oh, MJF and The Rock are going to get into a Twitter exchange. That's not going to happen. Well, it did happen, right? So it did happen. It did happen. And you're going to tell me that The Rock said that photo just to try to get to MJF? Why? What's the purpose?
No.
If he's really signed to...
No. That's not what happened. I'll tell you how it happened. You want to hear how it happened? Okay, here's how it happened. The Rock saw a picture of him beating Cody's ass.
Right.
Probably had no idea it was MJF.
I agree.
MJF probably lined up with his girlfriend to take a shot at Cody, ex-girlfriend, to get a little bit of attention. She does it. Turns out it gets The Rock's attention. The Rock comments. Then he tries to get a little bit of the limelight by commenting on Rock. Rock hasn't responded yet, as far as I'm aware. So far, there hasn't been this exchange hasn't been an exchange. Rock.
No. MJF put the Rock's name in his mouth. So there's a little bit of an exchange.
It's not. It's The Rock having a conversation with somebody and MJF screaming from the side.
Let me give you this. Okay, let me just point out this. And maybe you're absolutely right. And chances are there's a higher probability that you're right. The fact of the matter is, MJF has now pointed out a reason why he's there on Sunday. He pointed out. He's put himself in the situation. Yes, he has.
Look.
However you want to look at it, he put himself in that situation.
Look. First of all, even if he does appear at WrestleMania, even if he does help Cody out, that doesn't mean he's signed any kind of long-term agreement with him.
And maybe that's all it is.
This could be a one-up. Well, because you talked about story. Well, that ain't much of a story. Okay,
it's
so
a start.
It's a start. But if you don't have a long-term contract in place, why would you start a story? Just like, why would you end the story with Adam Cole the way that you did if you knew he wasn't going to come back? That would be the worst possible way to end the story.
I really think the way they ended it the perfect way with him leaving, knowing that he's leaving. I really, truly, deep down, still believe he's going to show up at WWE. So, yes, I am going to put a point on it. I'm going to put a point on it. I'm going to mark it down. I got to defend my thoughts and my...
So what is your actual prediction?
He just shows up. I'm not talking about him signing. He shows up at WrestleMania. I'm not going to say who he's helping.
And he performs, though. He's not in the crowd somewhere.
Well, they're not going to show him in the crowd.
I don't know. Maybe they've got a contract with him.
Maybe he's in the NXT crowd.
Yeah, maybe this is like Mercedes Moné, where he's up in the crowd somewhere. I'm going to say
he's involved somehow.
Okay.
So he's in the card somewhere.
WrestleMania 40, and you're putting 1 point on that.
1 point.
Well, listen.
I wouldn't lose.
Luck favors the bold.
First off, I wouldn't lose by putting on my extra points. I won the first time you put in extra points, and I lost hard the second time. Do you guys have any extra points you guys want to add?
Yes. I am going to put an extra point.
Come on, Matt, say it.
On Kevin Owens winning U.S. title.
Oh, you want to double up?
Yeah.
On your prediction?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
I was like, saying that. MJF saying that. I was waiting for Matt to come in after all that and say, I'm going with it.
Oh, yeah. Why did I write down? Oh, right. Okay. ×2. All right. Wow. Everybody's putting a little skin out there then this
It's
time.
WrestleMania. It's a big league.
All right, and what we'll do, too, is obviously WrestleMania Night 1.
Oh, one other thing I want to say on the MJF thing, and then we can close it out. The only way that they were able to keep the CM Punk secret a secret is because it literally happened 15 minutes before he walked out there.
Yeah.
And by the way, even then, there were some really strange leaks going around. Like, everybody was shocked, but not everybody was surprised when he came out there. And it rocked the world and hell froze over. If they were able to keep MJF's appearance a secret, that would mean that would be kept under wraps for a long period of
First
time.
off, I don't think it's
4
a secret.
months.
Nobody's talking about it.
First off, if AEW really knows he's gone, no one's going to say a word about it over there.
No, I'm talking about specifically about this WrestleMania. Specifically about
I get
your
that.
prediction.
Well, let's say he really did leave AEW, right? He's gone.
Sure.
Okay? No one over there is going to reference that because right now no one really knows.
No.
So they're going to, of course, keep it. I'm just saying, let's say...
Dude, even when CM Punk was on his way back, people were doing his moves the week of Survivor Series on Monday Night Raw.
I think, hear that? I think WWE wanted a hard secret, hard surprise.
But how
and
did they
AEW doesn't
actually-
want to say anything,
But
so
how do
at
you-
the end of the day, it makes for a perfect surprise.
But how do you actually do that in the age of the internet?
Well,
how do you actually
it's not
keep a
that hard to
secret?
keep a secret.
It's impossible to
Hey,
keep
Nick
a secret.
Khan, I want to sign with WWE. Keep it a secret. Okay, down. Here's your contract. Done.
Impossible.
Signed. No one knows.
It's impossible.
And
The
using Tony
secretary
Khan
says
did-
something.
Anyone who walks out in AEW and references it, I'm sure Tony Khan would fire them
The
immediately.
league. I'm not talking about AEW side. The information gets out. It leaks.
I think you have the perfect situation
It
for a
leaks.
surprise. AEW is not going to say anything, and WWE doesn't want you to know at all, so it makes it the
and
perfect
the longer
surprise.
the secret has to be kept, the harder it is.
If that's wait a minute, why would AEW keep it a secret?
Why would... Because
It's
everything,
embarrassing. It's
everything they're
probably-
going through right now, they're going to throw out the fact that MJF really left. They're going to ride on the fact that MJF is...
but they-
right now, most AEW
If
true fans believe MJF is still there. They do. They really do. So if you now break the
You're
news...
right, though. I see what you're saying. Why not ruin?
Why not
Oh,
ruin
why
the
not
ruin?
surprise? That's what I'm saying.
If they really are competitors and their back really is against the wall.
And if
How do you know that? How do you know that doesn't happen Saturday morning?
Hang on. And if things are as bad as people think they are in AEW, why aren't they saying
They'd be doing
MJF
everything
is
they
signed.
could to
Because
kneecap.
MJF
that right there would be a classic, and I would give Tony Khan a lot of respect for it. That would be a classic
Vince McMahon
Eric
style.
Bischoff
Yeah,
move.
Eric Bischoff.
Sunday morning to go, oh, by the way, MJF has no contract with us and has been out. That'd be such a dirty move.
But-
I actually would praise Tony Khan for
Listen,
it.
I give.
That'd be a good defensive move. I give him credit.
It could be totally true. MJF might not be under contract right now. The contract might not start until June. Or whatever.
whenever he's healed up?
Or whenever it happens. Or whenever he
One
wants
way or
it.
another, I think he shows up at WrestleMania. Rather than lead to a long-term deal, whatever, I don't know.
If it's a one-time thing, I'm really excited to see him at WrestleMania.
I just am
If
having
it's a
a hard
long-term
time.
agreement, piss on his.
I'm just having a hard time understanding if I'm MJF and I'm looking at the world and my options in front of me, how you don't look at WWE right now. You see the success that CM Punk and Cody Rhodes is having. You see the ratings. You see the money. You see the deals. I don't understand why you go here. That's all I'm trying to say. And maybe I don't know. I just don't understand why you do it.
Yeah, it's more money.
I just don't get it. And WWE is going to pay top dollar for MJF. Rather they bench him, shelf him, whatever, they're going to pay top dollar for him. End of story. So I guess I just
They
in my
lost out
head
on Okada.
on my business side of things. How do you not go down the WWE road? How do you not?
You get
I
a
don't
better
know.
offer
Because,
from AEW.
or they just don't want to.
Maybe that's simple. Maybe he's a true company man and loyal, and that just says you need those type of guys. John Cena will never look at going to AEW. You need people like that.
Yeah, the pillars are dropping.
So,
true.
all right, we got to finish up. So, WrestleMania is over, right? We pack up our shit. Everyone heads home for Philadelphia on Sunday night. Where do we go from here?
Double
Because
down.
the next time we meet, we're gonna have an idea of what's going on with Monday Night Raw. Okay, where do we go from here? Where do you see yourselves at Money in the Bank, SummerSlam?
Backlash will be next.
But where do we? I'm talking more like SummerSlam. I think that's the next big pay-per-view. Where do you see WWE going now for the next couple months?
Okay.
MJF versus Cody for the world title.
You think so?
I think. All right. Let's just run down through the card really quickly. So we all think Rhea's going to hold the title, and I think things get really quiet. We get to an early summer lull. We don't see her on TV as much. She goes on vacation. I think things get quiet with her.
Her versus Jade at SummerSlam.
We all think Gunther's going to maintain the title. I think he's going to start feuding with somebody else, and it's going to be an actual feud with real heat behind it that might actually lead him to losing the title. I don't know who it's going to be with yet. I think the most interesting thing that's going to come out of this is I think we're going to see some kind of Belair Cargill feud. I think the two of them, as in a part of something's going to happen in this match, and it's going to set up heat between the two of them. I don't know if it's going to be a loss. We all seem to think that Belair Cargill and Naomi are going to win, but somehow there's going to be some kind of a heat between them, and that's going to be probably the best thing going in the business. We could see the return of Charlotte again. That could get mixed up in that, or maybe she decides to go the route of the WWE Women's Championship down the line. I think Bloodline gets real quiet when he loses the title.
Gone.
Things with Bloodline he disappears for a few months.
You'll still see Solo and Jimmy carrying the flag, but
but they're going to be into mid card, no name.
Oh, see, I kind of see them all being gone, taking a break.
Yeah, it's going to get.
I can see them all taking a break.
The Rock's going to step away. Like This is basically going to be like a supernova for the Bloodline, and we'll see them come back, but it's going to be a long time. It's going to be really quiet. We're gonna see a fulfillment of the promise that Triple H originally made with the heavyweight championship. That's why I think McIntyre is going to win, because he's going to be there every week, week after week, and it's going to be a full-on onslaught, I think, against him. Every week we're going to see him defending it against somebody.
I don't think we can see that with anybody. Damian Priest would be defending every night, and I think Seth Rollins has too.
Damian Priest would defend it. Rollins really hasn't lately because he's been caught up in this.
First up, I think we're going to see
he's been injured.
I think we're going to see different WWE in general. You know what I mean? Like right now, WWE is hot. It's on fire. If you're looking at the logo, you're seeing the fire going on right now. They have to find a way of keeping the product hot. They don't want to get into a quiet spring, summer. They want to keep the product going. Let me ask you a couple questions. Does The Rock stay on or not? Do we see Rock at SummerSlam?
Probably.
At SummerSlam, yes.
Who's he facing?
No, he won't wrestle.
I don't think he'll wrestle.
No, he won't wrestle.
So you don't think there's a story going with Cody Rhodes and The Rock?
There might be, but it doesn't involve The Rock wrestling.
See, my
I
prediction...
think he'd be more of an authority figure like Triple H.
Oh, you think so? So you think he's going down? Interesting.
I mean, I don't know if he's going to go that type angle, but he's going to be more Paul Heyman, less Roman Reigns.
I think, wild prediction, I really want to put some points down, but I don't know what the purpose of it is. I think the bloodline continues, but with The Rock and no Roman Reigns. Rock is running the bloodline. Rock will then go back and get the title for Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. Then the return of Roman Reigns to screw over The Rock, and that leads to The Rock and Roman Reigns next year.
I don't see him going for the title. I could see him facing Roman Reigns for the head of the table.
Yeah, there could be a battle over that. There could be a battle.
He runs
while Bloodline's going somewhere. The question is, were they disappearing? Roman's definitely disappearing. We know that.
All kind of interesting things, because then whose side does Paul Heyman take?
That's what I'm saying.
Where does Paul go? That could be interesting.
They got to keep the product fresh and
you could
not
see a
knowing
split in the bloodline.
But Cody Rhodes,
Jimmy, where are they going to end?
Cody Rhodes is going to be there every night. So he's going to be an everyday, every week wrestler. He's not part-time. He's not disappearing. So who faces Cody Rhodes next?
Gunther.
Yeah.
So could we see a Damian Priest cash in on the Intercontinental and Gunther now move up to Cody?
No, I see Gunther keeping the title, going for the world title. If he wins it, he would vacate the IC, but I don't think he'll beat Cody that quickly.
Cody can have the belt for a while.
Cody's going to hold it.
He's going to hold it at least till SummerSlam.
Beyond.
See, I believe the new guy. I believe the good guys are always better chasing the belt than having it.
That's true.
I don't think he's going to have it for long.
100%, but you can't.
I mean, SummerSlam is a respectful amount of time.
After him chasing it for 2 years, though, he can't keep it.
I know this day we live in, you got to have the belt for 10 months. But I mean, back in the day, you had the belt. Having the belt for 3 months was a long time.
He could carry it to like Royal Rumble, maybe, or even Survivor Series. 6 months.
Survivor Series, I think, is more likely.
I think we see a very big...
That's the halfway point.
I think we see The Rock still involved, and I think we see The Rock running Bloodline.
Yeah, but he won't wrestle.
Maybe not. Well, not wrestle. No, but I think he'll run he'll have his authority figure going, and he's going to run the Bloodline, and Paul Heyman's going to report. Roman Reigns is leaving. We all agree on that. He's leaving.
Yep.
He's already kind of said in that AEW or A&E documentary that did that if he loses the belt, he's gone. Like, he's leaving. He didn't say that for no reason. He said it because that's probably what's going to happen. He's going to go away, and probably till SummerSlam at the very least. So what? The Bloodline's just not going to disappear. I think The Rock takes it. I think there's some kind of Cody Rhodes Rock match. I think that's how Roman Reigns gets himself back into the picture against The Rock. To me, it's the only thing that makes sense. Anything else you guys have for what's coming up?
Nope. I'm good.
I like that. Although Gunther would technically have to switch brands, but I like that Gunther v.
Why would he switch band? Oh, he's on Raw.
He's on Raw.
World Heavyweight belt. Where we go?
I think McIntyre just defends it.
Yeah.
Over and over and over.
He
just stays busy.
It still feels like a secondary title to me, especially if Priest ends up winning it. It feels less than the IC title.
The World Heavyweight?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know if it's less than
I don't
the
think
IC.
it's a lot. I definitely put it less than the Universal one.
Well, there is a stronger guy holding the IC right
Exactly.
now. That
That's
I
what
will
I'm
say.
saying.
But I don't think that because Rollins has it and he's fully capable of carrying it. I mean,
I definitely
secondary.
think of it as a smaller belt compared to Universal. But I don't think it goes under the Intercontinental.
Maybe that changes once Cody wins the Universal. Then it'll be on par with the World Heavyweight.
I mean, you got McIntyre versus Cody standing next to each other. McIntyre.
So
does
when
better.
did Vince step away from content? Was it WrestleMania last year?
No. It was
The
later.
first time it was 2022.
When did Triple H really take over? I forget.
Originally,
It was like
it
Survivor
was
Series.
No.
It was basically Punk was like the first real.
McMahon first retired in summer. It was like June of 2022. He
Right.
came back in January, and then
And then
He was
took
still
over-
called. He was even Punk said in an interview. He was still kicked him off in May of last year. He still was making phone calls with Triple H saying, "Get CM Punk out of here."
Yeah, so we're kind of going into the first full year of Triple H. I think we're gonna see a lot of surprises. I think we'll see a lot of. I think The Rock's not going anywhere.
I'm excited to see. What
I think Triple H is really gonna talk what you're talking. He can put Gunther where Gunther needs to be, and he's really gonna clean it up where you can clearly see what belt is over what belt. I think that there's a lot of cleaning up that's got to be done there. All right, guys, that's our
WrestleMania-sized
episode to WrestleMania 40. Got a lot there on what our predictions are, surprises, and so on. Make sure you check out our channel throughout the week, YouTube and Instagram. Watch all of our content with Ring the Bell, Falls Count Anywhere, WWE Gauntlet, and all the extra stuff we're going to be adding as the time goes on. 1 year celebration next week, gentlemen. We may have a few surprises for you here on the set. So we're going to go over all that next week. Enjoy WrestleMania. Until next time. How's it go?
You keep watching, and we'll keep wrestling with the business.
Adios.